Oh, good evening, everyone. It's a wonderful evening. Good to have all of you here. Um, okay. I sent some materials on Monday. And a video. I don't know if you have any challenge with it. But please, can you just thumb up if you can hear me audible? I'm audible. Can you just give reactions to that?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you so much. Um, So how is it the installation of Power BI? Have you installed it, or do we have any challenge so far? So okay, if you have installed, you can drop it in the chat. If you're also having challenge, also drop it in the chat so we can address it now. Okay, thank you. Oluwada says installed. Lovely one. Okay. All right. So good evening. Okay, I'm waiting for my response so I can see. Okay, testimony. I haven't been able to install. Um, okay, maybe your network. All right. Okay, let it come. Let it come so I can know what to address in the next 26 minutes. Yet to install. Are you having challenge or you have not just tried it? Because that's what I want to resolve in this meeting. And from next week we start going into details. I'll explain the intrinsic of some other things. One. Okay. Okay. You've not tried it. All right. So I have just one person actually have the installation. Okay. I'll proceed with giving introduction to what we are doing. From the last meeting on Excel, I can see that visualization is not a problem. By now, we should be able to plot some charts, probably bar chart, pie chart. Basically, most of the charts they are very easy to plot on. They are very easy to plot. Okay, sorry, I need to attend to. Okay, they are very easy to plot on Excel, but Power BI give us some more advantage, right? Give us more advantage. We are going to explore that. Not today, though. I just want to give some explanation to the note I sent. All right. So If you have not, please let me. You can just try to do that, because very soon we'll be going in deep into that. Not today anyway. So Power BI give more advantage over Excel, right? Although Excel basically can do dashboard, do you get? But it is more static in Excel. You get, we can create a dashboard then, but in the Power BI, you can use one chart to filter the other. You get, so it is very interactive in Power BI, unlike Excel, which is static. You get, Power BI was launched in 2014 thereabout, and there are there are three components of Power BI. We have the Power BI desktop, Power BI service, Power BI mobile, right? Power BI desktop basically is the one you're actually going to use, right, on your system. Also have the Power BI service, whereby if you need to share service, you need to host your this thing on their own computer, just like you are renting, right? So you can use your Power BI service, but in this case, it is very easy to share and collaborate, just like you are using um, the Google, what's it called, Google Sheets that can work. Anybody can work on it online. So that is how Power BI service looks like. So we also have the Power BI mobile, which is just like on the go service you can carry on. If you are in an organization, you'll be working with the three at the same time, because you might need to give access to people depending on the department. So you just have to know all these. So Power BI interface, I'm working on the my system is slow though, so I'm using my phone. So you can, if you have installed, just open up and follow the first notes, introduction to Power BI as a reporting tool. So that's the note I'm explaining now. Now, if you are using Excel by now, you should be familiar with the ribbon, the tab, the what's it called, the toolbar. All these are things. If you have Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, they're very common there, right? The ribbon are the group of items that contains the menu bar, the toolbar, right? Now, what difference is we have the canvas, right? The canvas is where you put your chart. As you can see, is the second item labeled in that notes, 02, right? The ribbon is 01, which contains your toolbar and the menu bar. All right, the third part I want to talk about is the page tab. The page tab contains, just like you are using, what's it called, your Google Sheets, I mean your Excel sheets, where you have sheet one, sheet two. So the same thing happens here too. You have different sheets there that you can create, right? Because sometimes if you maybe you need to create multiple reports and link them together, you can just create them on different sheets, right? So the next, we have the filter pane. But when we start to use this, you'll get to know more about it. But just open it. Filter pane is to the left of your, to the right of your these things. You always see it after the visualizations. You need to filter some data. Just keep your hand crossed to be working on them very soon, but not today. So we have on the left hand side, we have three types of views in Power BI. We have the report view. As you can see, that's the first icon. I'm on page 5, so you can open that. If you're on your system too, all these are there, right? I have a very low system now. I can't power it up to show for that. So just open up your own so you can follow up what I'm doing. However, you can see the notes, or perhaps let me share the notes. Maybe that'll be better. Because share what Okay, I believe I'm still on, right? All right. Still on.
You're still on.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, thank you. So let me share my screen. So you should be able to see my screen now. So as we are talking about um the pane, I've explained the pane is at the bottom. All right, the plus, you see it at the bottom, the plus sign there. Now the next, let's say we have three views in Power BI. We have the report view, we have the table view, and we have the model view. Right. So they have just one thing, just like they have different function. Now, just like I don't know when we talked about when we're doing SQL, we talked about some relationship schema, right? I sent a kind of how the entity relationship diagram, how each table are related, right? In Power BI here, you can call it schema too. But here you have the model view. It shows you the model. That's the third icon. Yeah, I'm on page. If you're opening, I'm on page 6. And that's the item labeled 7. So the first one labeled, that's the report view. The second one is the table view. The third one is the model view, right? So data view, which is I call the table view, right? That's where you see the preview of your data, right? You see the preview of your data. We're going to take some exercises that I'm just trying to get you acquainted with the interface of Power BI. So you can just let curiosity drive it. So download it and get used to all these things I'm saying. So when I say click on something like this, you'll be very used. You'll know what I'm talking about. Now the third one, the model view. Yes, that's on page I think page 7 or page 8. The model view, as you can see, it is similar to your schema, similar to schema we have in on SQL, right? And we have relationships. As you can see, you can see one asterisk. We're going to talk about all this in detail later on, right? So how we can select how are the tables related to each other? In this case, you can see we have indicator, gender inequality, country, and country info. Several tables connected like that, so we can. You will see how interesting Power BI is compared to using Excel, right, for visualization or for dashboarding. Okay, so now this is the next. You can say the visualization that is done. Several visualization there. You'll get used to this very soon. Okay, so data management. One thing about database about Power BI is that you can connect to different type of data. You can connect it directly to your SQL, right? So as you keep, maybe as your data in your database keep changing, your dashboard or your reports too we adjust to the changes. So it is not static. Do you get? You can connect to Excel file, you can connect to CSV file, whatever file you want to connect with. It accepts different types of file. Right. So that is introduction to Power BI as a reporting tool. So let's talk about dashboard. So we've been talking about dashboard. What is dashboard? Right? Dashboard serves as a critical role in providing real-time insights into an organization's performance. Right? Why do we use them? basically to monitor metrics, maybe to track KPI. KPI means key performance indicator. Let's say want to know whether we are meeting our targets or not meeting our targets. So it's just like a summary of all the activities that has been going on in our data. Right? So it is also used to track progress, to facilitate data-driven decision making, which is the main goal of having a data analyst in an organization. Decision making, because you say data don't tell lies. That is if you clean your data and you work on your correct data anyways. So dashboard reports, there are two things people do. People find it kind of confusing. What is dashboard? What is report? Well, dashboard in Power BI, so to say, there is no particular interface create that separates Power BI from there's no separate. Sorry, let me respond to. Okay, there's no that separates creating dashboard and creating, like, you are using the same canvas. So the only difference is that if you are using a report is very much comprehensive, right? Like complete detail of whatever you want to present, and in-depth analysis. A report can be 4 pages, 5 pages, right? As much as you want to go in depth. But report is majorly used for maybe you want to communicate complex information or in depth, or you're dealing with some kind of you are dealing with maybe a technical audience that will really flow along with you. Right? You're dealing with a technical audience that will really flow along. So you need a report. Just but a dashboard. That dashboard basically can just be one part. It should be one page summary. And you don't need to have complex information. Just give them what they want to know. They don't want to know how this thing works, how the summary came up to this. No, what is happening? That's just dashboard. You get, so that's just the difference between dashboard and report. So in Power BI, there's no big difference. There's just that how in depth you go, make it call it whether it is a dashboard or a report. So similarities, both of them are using visualization. They are very interactive. They show trends and so on. So one challenge as an analyst is how do we arrange our story? Because we are always telling stories. That's why we say communication is very important in the field, right? Because you'll be standing up, giving prep talk. Majorly, they want to listen to you. They want to talk. They want you to tell them what is happening. They want to rely on your findings. So if you are not able to communicate properly, you might disengage your audience. So what are now the processes we're talking about? First, you have to plan whatever you want to talk about. Then you gather your data, you prepare your data, whatever you want to use to prepare data. You can use Excel to prepare your data, to clean whatever. You can also use Power BI to do that too. Though we are not going to get to that level because we'll be talking about DAX. DAX is a programming language in Power BI used for major data analysis and some stuff. We'll not cover in depth of that because we just have 2 weeks for Power BI anyways. So after you plan, you gather your data, you do your visualization, you arrange your interactivity, testing and validation, and you deploy it for maintenance, right? Whether you want to put it on, use the service, Power BI as a service, you can just deploy it there and move on. So there are, apart from Power BI, there are different dashboarding tools. At least the first dashboarding tools that came by first lens was Tableau. Very easy, friendly, right? But interactivity, I'm trying, because there was a time I was trying to compare Tableau, Power BI. Tableau is very easy at the beginning, right? So in fact, it is easy, so to say. right? But if you are the one that is going to arrange interactivity, for instance, you have a report of like 2 pages or 3 pages. You are the one that will connect and see to filter whatever. But in Power BI, all these things are automatic, right? Filtering, it just happens on its own. You don't need to do additional. But in Tableau, you have to do additional. But anyway, plotting in Tableau, very easy. Just drag, click, very, very sweet. So both of them have their own cones, program, whatever. Tableau is very easy to use anyway, and ideal for beginners. So Power BI is also a tool. I like the fact that it doesn't make interactivity complex, right? You can just focus on plotting your charts while it filters the rest for you. Though DAX is something people dread actually, but not too hard. You can also get into that. I can give you a comprehensive material to further your knowledge on DAX when we get to DAX anyway. So apart from Power BI and Tableau, what other dashboarding tools we can use? We can use Data Studio, Google Data Studio, and use quick click view, though not used to quick click view as the dashboarding tool. So those are the different dashboarding tools we can use: Power BI, Tableau, Google Data Studio, Click View. You might find those very interesting. So what are the components of Power BI? We have the widgets, we have the data source, and the filtering elements. These are the three things you'll be interacting for visualization. I'm on the second note, so you can like to open it, and I'm on page 10. So as you can see, in your canvas, all these are your widgets arranged together. For on the two, we have a visualization tool, and on the the rightmost side, we have the data source. If you have connected your data or you have imported your data, so to say, you will see all your tables organized like this. All right. I'll send you data that you can, in case you want to work on, start trying before our next class. I'll send you data that we are going to work on so you can visualize. So report, I've talked about report versus dashboard. One thing I like about Power BI is that it auto creates connect model for you. The relationship, as long as the data is clean, right? All the relationship, it does it on its own. So you don't need to worry about how maybe the primary key, just like in we have in SQL, where you have to connect the primary key foreign key. So you wouldn't have to worry about that in Power BI, right? So component of Power BI, we've talked about that. So we get visualization, multi-page document. You can, if you are creating a report, you can have your report more than 1 page, 2 or 3 pages, depending on how complex you want to go in your communication or your presentation. So I don't know if there's any question as the end for today. So if you have question, let's talk about it. So I just have 5 minutes left to round up and be on my way home. Questions, you can type it if you don't want to talk. So by next week, I'm expecting us to get used to the Power BI interface. If you're having challenge, please raise it on time so we can know how to help you, because it won't be fair after we have gone far. Okay. Okay, multiple regression. Multiple regression, are you talking about Excel? Is it Excel you are talking about? Because if you are talking about multiple regression,
Yes,
are you talking about
it
machine
is.
learning?
No, it's the Excel. Excel, the last assignment you gave us, you said we should compare item size with item, then we should compare it with the sales. So check online now what can we use to compare different items. I know that regression is to compare two items together. So now I check if we can use multiple regression, but I'm not getting anything. So the optional part of the assignment, I didn't touch it at all. But the main assignment, I did it and I sent it to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for that. First, if you're talking about regression is a mathematical concept that shows the relationship between two entities. And basically, we use regression mostly in prediction or forecasting, so to say, right? Excel has a way of, if you are dealing with a relationship, I wasn't expecting you to go that way, that deep, right? But it's a very good thing you did, because as a data analyst too, you should have knowledge of machine learning. So if you're talking about regression, mentioning into machine learning, right? Well, I'm only expecting you to do some kind of correlation analysis. That's one tool for comparison. Most of us that we are familiar with statistics, you should know how to use that properly. So correlation tells you the relationship between two entities. You have different type of correlation anyway, Pearson, whatever you want to use. But you don't need to worry about the calculation. Computer will do that for you, right? So you can just check how to calculate correlation. If you can check how to calculate correlation with Excel, right? It will give you kind of figure ranging between 0 to 1 or plus or minus 0, sorry, plus or minus 1 to, okay, it ranges between, yes, negative
1
1 to
to
plus 1.
yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much for that. So negative means that a kind of inverse relationship, that is, as probably as one goes up, the other one is coming. Let's talk about price and quantity. Right. So let's say the relationship is -1. So that means that they are inverse. Maybe as price goes up, the quantity comes down. Right. Positive means they are both going up or they are both coming down at the same time. So now if you have a correlation that is above 0.5, that shows you that there's a kind of strong relationship between the two entities. Once you have less than 0.5, maybe 0.2, that's very weak relationship or no relationship, so to say. Right. So you need all those kind of analysis to know the relationship between the two entities, whether they are, how are they affecting each other. Alternatively, if you don't want to go into calculation, you can just simply use scatter plots. Right. Scatter plots will give you, I don't know if you are familiar so well with scatter plots.
Sir,
It's
excuse me,
kind of,
sir. Sorry to
go
cut in,
ahead.
sir. I used scatter plots for the same assignment you said, but it gave me different different scatter. Okay, is it box and whisker? It gave me different this thing that it was very scattered. I didn't understand it, so I just
Well,
end the whole.
there are reasons why your scatter plot might not be making sense. Number one, first of all, is check, are your data's reasonable? Do we have outliers? Outliers can actually affect it. It can blindfold you, not, or blindfold an analyst not to see it in the graph. Right. Once outliers is removed, do we have missing values? Once all those ones are removed, right? Now, if it still not show anything, that means that the two data are not related, that there is no kind of relationship between the two. But provided that you have done the necessary before you may jump to that conclusion, you get. Now, for box and whisker plot is just to show distribution of data, similar to what we call similar to histogram. Right? But box and whisker can show you some kind of the median value, the 25 percentile, like half of my data or 25% of my data are within this range. So can give you that information. So majorly, I usually use it to show distribution of data, right? How maybe I want to see the distribution of age, distribution of price. I can see that most of my prices are low compared to the higher prices. So depending on the statistical tool you want to use to solve your problem. Did I answer that? So that
Yes,
is
sir.
what
Yes,
I
sir.
was.
You answered it, sir.
I wasn't
Thank you, sir.
expecting for you to go into deep calculation as regression that way. But it's a good thing you know, because that's one of the bases of machine learning. Machine as a data analyst, I won't lie to you, machine learning is a very key thing you need to know. You can't run away from it if you really want to be in the market. So other that I've not installed, please let's get it done so that we can kickstart.
Sir,
From
please, when
next
are you
class.
going to send the document for Power BI to practice?
Okay, I'll send that because by now my head is not processing anything. Maybe when I get home, I will try to send that. All right. If I can't send it today, I'll send it tomorrow. Because I don't know. I'll try to send it today. By God's grace. Okay, it's 5:32 already. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Who has any other questions to ask again? Okay, in the absence of questions, I would like to hang up so you can. Okay, thank you so much for joining. See you next week.